Hello and welcome to Sovereign Earth number 12, which is about the moon. I actually broadcast it originally about just over a week ago actually, but it broke up during the transmission and I want to deliver a version that is continuous, that can be posted to YouTube. So here I am on St Martin's in the Isles of Scilly, very beautiful island, very wild and windswept at the moment, rain and wind, but very beautiful nonetheless. Small population here, 120 people. Excuse me. So, the moon, okay. And yeah, I'll start with the blessing, for the couple of lines that come from a Celtic blessing that I give. And it refers to the moon. May the strength of the wind and the light of the sun, the softness of the rain and the mystery of the moon reach you and fill you. They're lovely lines. May the mystery of the moon reach you and fill you. So let's start with a song. We are the dance of the moon and the sun. We are the light that's in everyone. We are the turning of the tide. We are the hope that's deep inside. We are the light of the moon and the sun. We are the light that's in everyone. We are the turning of the tide. We are the hope that's deep inside. It's lovely. So I'm doing this spontaneously, off the cuff, and there's a few of you there. I see Yvette, Karen and Binny. Hi there, all of you. Welcome to this impromptu session. Right. When I last broadcast this session on the moon, we had just had a full moon, and it was harvest moon, and it was Friday the 13th. And the combination of those factors made it a very special full moon, one which hadn't happened since 2000. Autumn 2000. It won't happen again until 2049. So that harvest moon, that full moon, was remarkably unusual. But what's perhaps not unusual but is remarkable is how each and every one of us can see the moon and does see the moon in our lifetimes regularly. And to imagine and to think back through all the generations, all of my ancestors, all of our ancestors, all of your ancestors, everyone will have seen the moon, will have looked at the moon with the same sentiment, in all likelihood, as you or I, sensing its beauty and its wonder. And not just our ancestors, but what's remarkable also is to imagine wherever I am on the globe, or wherever we are, to be able to tune into the moon with those we love, family, friends, our beloved. It's quite something, to the moon as a constant in our lives, a constant source of beauty and inspiration. So on the theme of lovers being able to see the moon, here's another chant, a small song to connect in. In the still of the night, from the darkness comes a light, and I know in my heart it is you, and I know in my heart it is you. In the still of the night, from the darkness comes a light, and I know in my heart it is you, and I know in my heart it is you. So, we celebrate the moon in all sorts of ways, some of them evident, some of them hidden. one of the most beautiful ways we celebrate the moon is in our language, and the moon is embodied in our word for month. The month, each month, each month. And once upon a time we had 13 months or moons, because the lunar calendar is 13, the solar calendar is 12 months. And it's interesting and fascinating to me how in our language a dozen is now 12. In the English language, if we ask for a dozen bread rolls, we get 12. But there's an old term of a dozen, a baker's dozen. A baker's dozen is 13. Now, bakery is very close to, is an ancient craft, and also it holds and reflects that connection with the moon. A baker's dozen of 13. So we're being shortchanged, really, when we only get 12 in a dozen. It should be 13, and once was. Here's another song. The moon, she is waning, waxing and waning. The moon is waiting for us to be free. Sister moon, watch over me, your child I will always be. Sister moon, watch over me until we are free. The moon, she is waning, waxing and waning. The moon, she is waiting for us to be free. Sister moon, watch over me, your child I will always be. Sister moon, watch over me until we are free. So we have the moon in the month, and we also have the moon in the word Monday. Each day of our week, although we've forgotten it largely, has a planet associated with it. I know the moon isn't a planet, okay, a planetary being, an orb of the sky. So Sunday is sun, that's obvious. Monday is moon, not everyone realises that. Tuesday is Mars, Wednesday Mercury, Thursday Jupiter, Friday Venus, Saturday Saturn. But Monday is Moon Day, and I didn't always as a child appreciate the moon in the way I do now, and over the years celebrating the cycle of the moon, especially full moon, and that's very much reflected and in a growing movement of veneration of the moon by, well, women especially, naturally, because of the cycle of the moon. I find it ironic that, yes, the monthly cycle for women is called menstruation. I wonder, shouldn't it be called moonsturation? Should we not reclaim it for the moon? And in a similar way, the menopause, how ironic, how odd. It may be the womanopause or the moonopause is more appropriate. I'm reminded the femininity of the moon and its magic, its mystery, and its elusive quality is very, very much of the feminine. And there are a couple of lines from a poem I wrote to the feminine, but these are particularly evocative of the moon, and they're a couple of my favourite lines from the poem. Stunning is the luminescence of your elusive lunar essence. Stunning is the luminescence of your elusive lunar essence. I think that's true of feminine and of womanhood generally. Now I want to sing a very, very old song, an English song from the English language that I've adapted. It's the same tune. And what I feel I've done is reclaimed some of the words. My sense is it was an ancient English folk song that was, let's say, Christianized, but it harks back to something far older. So I've changed a few of the words to reclaim that. It's in honour of the moon. Here we go. Praise to the moon, bright queen of the skies, jewel of the dark night, the light of our eyes, brighter than starlight, whiter than snow, look down on us in the darkness below. If well you should find us, then well let us stay, be it 7 times better when we make our way, be it 7 times better when we greet the dawn. So light up our way and keep us from all harm. Cast your eyes downwards to our dwelling place, 3 times for favour and 3 times for grace. Over the dark skies your face for to see, to banish misfortune and keep tranquility. In the name of the maiden, the fairest of face, in the name of the mother, so filled now with grace, in the name of the dark one, whose face we don't see, all praise to the moon for eternity. Yeah. Lovely to stand under the moon in some ancient stone circle and sing that song and imagine our ancestors with us somewhere. Now I just want to touch on some of the fascinating and remarkable qualities of the moon. So silver is the element that's associated with the moon. So just as we have a day of the week, we also have an element. So Sunday, the sun is gold. Monday, the moon is silver, and it goes on. But silver is the metal associated with the moon, and there's a magic in the cosmos that is reflected on the earth, and part of that is the eclipse of the sun. When the eclipse of the sun happens, it's a magical act, a magical light show, but it only happens and can only happen because of this, you could say it's coincidence, but the sun is 400 times further from the earth than the moon. Okay, but the sun is also 400 times bigger than the moon, and because of those 2 factors, when an eclipse happens, the moon and the sun are of equal visual size in the sky to us, because of that coincidence, because of that beautiful happening. The moon, she dances on the waves, on the waves, on the shore. The moon, she dances on the waves, on the waves, on the shore. Making circles on the waves, on the waves, on the shore. So we have this surprising coincidence of sun and moon. Now here's some more. There's a number, 108, which is associated with the moon, but it happens to be 1 to the power of 1 times 2 to the power of 2 plus 3 to the power of 3. So that's 1 plus 4. 1 times 4 times 27 equals 108. So it's 1 squared, 1 to the power of 1, 2 squared, and 3 to the power of 3. Be that as it may, that number of 108 crops up throughout the mystery and throughout alchemy, throughout the mysterious religions and of history. For instance, when the yogic tradition, when they celebrate, for instance, transition from winter into spring, 108 sun salutations are offered at special times. There's an equivalent of the rosary in the East, So Hinduism and Buddhism both have rosaries, bands of beads, 108 beads, 108. And 108, it can also be interpreted as the number of the goddess. Certainly Joseph Campbell, in his books, he took 108 as being adding up to 9. 1 as the 1 is God, or the all, or higher truth. Then 0, emptiness or completeness, and then 8 is eternity. 1 plus 0 plus 8 is 9, figure number of the goddess. Some nights stay up till dawn as the moon sometimes does for the sun. Some nights stay up till dawn as the moon sometimes does for the sun. We've probably all experienced that. That's that rare occurrence when we see the sun setting, for instance, and the moon rising. How beautiful to have them both visible. Those words, by the way, I think were from Rumi. So this number of 108 associated with the sun, it so happens that the atomic mass of the sun is 108 out of all. Not the atomic mass of the sun. The atomic mass of silver is 108. The atomic mass of silver. Only silver has an atomic mass of 108. Now, it so happens that the distance from the moon to the earth is 108 diameters of the moon. So 108 moons is the distance between the moon and the earth. Well, yeah, what are the odds on that? But more than that, there's 108 diameters of the sun between the earth and the sun. So 108 suns between us and the sun. And even more uncanny, there are 108 earths, 108 diameters of the earth is the width of the sun. But we're looking at the moon. I happen to think the 108 is a balance of sun and moon, of feminine and masculine, but that's another story. So the full moon is like a mandala in the sky, and beauty, mystery, mathematics, music, all of these things. So we're just going to meditate for a moment through the moon. Excuse me. There's a song associated with the dark of the moon. Where we are now the moon is waning and moving towards the dark phase. I'd like us to consider what seed we might plant by the dark of the moon, which could come to fruition by the full moon. So what is there in our lives? Let's take a moment. What is there in my life that I might wish to foster and see grow and come to fruition over the next month by the light of the moon? Okay. Maybe we have something, maybe only the seed of it, maybe it'll come later. But as I sing this, I invite us to just dwell in this meditative space in relationship to the moon. Dark of the moon, new beginnings. Dark of the moon, plant a seed tonight. Dark of the moon, what we envision will come to be by the full moonlight. Dark of the moon, new beginnings. Dark of the moon, plant a seed tonight. Dark of the moon, what we envision will come to be by the full moonlight. I made a note when I was looking up, so I was just looking up these thoughts on the moon. E. E. Cummings, who happens to be a favourite poet of mine, enigmatic in his writings, he said, "Yours is the light by which my spirit is born. You are my sun, my moon, and all my stars." So we'll finish with these words from Rumi, again to song. Let my heart reflect your light now, as the moon reflects the light of the sun, in love, always in love. Let my heart reflect your light now, as the moon reflects the light of the sun, in love, always in love. Always in love, always in love. So, yeah, let love and beauty and the light of the moon shine on us all and guide us on our paths through this rich and varied and mysterious life. Bye for now. Bye-bye.